This isn't the video I wanted to make today, okay? I wanted to talk about the Steam charts. I want to talk about how Battlefield 6 is now the #1 best-selling game on Steam. You have nearly 1.5 million pre-orders on Steam alone, and when you compare this to the Black Ops 7 beta right now, no contest. There is no longer a Call of Duty and Battlefield war. Battlefield is winning by a mile. Today was supposed to be a moment of hype. Battlefield 6 releases in 4 days, but hey, EA is gonna EA, right? If you missed it, this morning, the official Battlefield Comms Twitter account posted a community update titled Play Your Way, and in it they said, the one thing that all the longtime Battlefield players were dreading to hear. They confirmed that open weapons is the right path forward for Battlefield 6. Yeah. We knew it was gonna happen, but the way they did this is what I'm most upset about. Now we're gonna go over this entire post because this does have a lot of good information and updates that you need to know come launch day in a few days, but we first need to talk about this statement here, okay? Back during the beta, the devs released both an open and closed weapons playlist. Many players at the start of the beta were upset that any class could use any weapon. The devs said, okay, you know what? We hear you, we're listening. Let's see if you really want this. Go play the closed weapons playlist and let us know what you think. But right from the get-go, this entire experiment was flawed. The closed weapons playlist was hidden off to the right side of the menu. The average person, if they booted up the game, they wouldn't see this at all. You literally had to scroll over to the right to uncover this playlist option, and more so, the closed weapons playlist didn't even have all of the playable game modes. You could play closed weapons conquest, and that was it. Only conquest. I think they did add closed weapons breakthrough a few days later, but if you wanted to play any of the other game modes, so domination, king of the hill, squad deathmatch, and most importantly, rush, you couldn't. You had to play open weapons. There were also later on beta achievements in order to get certain cosmetics that forced you to play certain game modes and do specific things in game that were either only on open weapon playlists or easier on the open weapon playlist. Like they added the CQB playlist that let you play breakthrough and rush, and that was the best way to progress the sectors captured objective. I know a lot of people were scrambling to get that objective as the beta was ending, and I pretty much only played open weapons just so I could get these cosmetics from the beta. The entire thing just felt biased from the start, and my tinfoil hat theory at the time was exactly what happened. They were going to use this data to then justify open weapons as the base game mode for Battlefield 6. And in this community post, the devs say just that. Another key insight from the open beta was that the vast majority of players, after trying both playlist types, chose to stick with open weapons. This reinforces our belief that open weapons is the right path forward for Battlefield 6. Of course, players were going to choose the open weapon playlist after trying the closed weapons playlist. I preferred closed weapons, but I played it for a bit and then I wanted to play more than just conquest or breakthrough. I quite literally had to go back to open weapons in order to enjoy all the game modes and to play the entire beta. I had no choice but to play open weapons. I especially hate how the devs have front-loaded this entire community post with data that is supposed to lessen the impact of closed and open weapons. They state that there was only a 1 to 2% difference in class pick rates, that open weapons only had 0.2 kills per hour more than closed weapons, and that the revive rate was also negligible. Only 2 to 3% more revives in closed weapon games. But they don't talk about the class synergy and how open weapons removes this rock, paper, scissors that really make Battlefield Battlefield. The best example I have this was as a support player during Empire State Rush. I used the PW7A2 SMG as a support kit, and that weapon is typically restricted for just engineers. The result of this SMG paired with the support kit was crazy overpowered. I no longer had the downside of using a close quarters high fire rate weapon. I could rearm the ammo whenever I wanted, and I could then heal myself up because I had to charge into areas and get up close and personal to kill people with this SMG. I could then drop a shield wall, I could hunker down, I could fight, heal, I could even revive players around me. The entire dynamic of these firefights, the entire dynamic of these game modes completely changed because of the open weapons. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I think closed weapons is how Battlefield is meant to be played, and I'll fight you guys in the comments below. I understand that I might be just an old man yelling at clouds at this point, but I think that this entire argument the devs are using was flawed from the start. The experiment was biased, and I hate that they're using this flawed experiment to justify and to just explain to us and let us know, to reassure that this is definitely what you guys wanted, even though we had no other choice than to play open weapons. It's just, it feels really crappy. EA is still EA, and I guess even if Battlefield 6 ends up being good, let's never forget EA is still kind of a scummy company when it comes down to it, especially as they go private. Now, I could probably spend hours talking about closed and open weapons, but we need to move on because there was one big positive thing to come out of this post, and that is the update on the official playlist and custom Portal games. So the official closed playlist, which means you can have the closed weapons options, will be available at launch, and that is a huge win. Closed weapons will also be available for Portal server owners, so communities can make servers that have the mixed mode closed weapons playlist if they want to. They just select the closed weapons options, and you can do whatever you want. They also go on to specify that there will be single mode playlists on launch, so if you just want to play Conquest, you can just queue for Conquest, but there will also be mixed mode playlists like Conquest and Escalation or Breakthrough and Rush. They are also keeping the custom search option, so if you do want only specific maps and game modes, like if you're a Jet player and just want to play on Jet Conquest games, then you might have to wait a bit longer during this matchmaking, but you'll eventually get what you want. And one thing that I didn't see coming was kind of a rebrand of Portal in-game. You no longer have a Portal tab in the main menus. This will now be under the Community tab, where you'll then find the community-run server browser. The devs have also specified that this is where they will also have the official hardcore servers as well. So if you are looking for hardcore experiences, you can now just go to Community and then filter by hardcore and find that playlist right there. This is a huge win for communities and custom games, or if you don't even necessarily like custom community games, but you just like hardcore servers. I think this is awesome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing just what Portal can do. In the past, Portal has been kind of a meme, but what they're doing with the Godot engine, how they're actually building a community server browser, I can't honestly say anything really negative about it. It all seems pretty positive, but we're really not going to know until we get our hands on it. Now, aside from Portal and community games, the devs also mentioned that they have a few things in store for the future, and they have not missed, as they say, the fan favorite little helicopter. So although it's not on launch, we will be getting the Little Bird soon, as well as platoons for a clan type system. And they also specified some type of naval warfare. Now, I don't know if that's just like ribbed boats or maybe larger gunboats, even destroyers. I have no idea, but some type of naval warfare. Maybe next year in another season, we'll be getting something. They also mentioned that in the release build this Friday, there are over 200 bug fixes, balance improvements, and polish. And the first one is going to be with player movement. Movement is going to feel more responsive with changes made to pacing and with several movement issues addressed to keep gameplay smooth and balanced. They also had a few weapon tunes such as recoil, which has been rebalanced for automatic weapons, making long-range gunplay more characteristic, rewarding tap firing and burst control. There's also going to be a few weapon attachments which have been fixed and displayed correctly that were kind of bugged out during the beta. Now for gadgets, the laser designator has been refined with smoother deploy animations, updated visuals, and other fixes, whereas the MBT Law is now going to be the base AT launcher for engineers instead of the RPG. The MAS 148 glaive has also been enhanced with more realistic missile path, improved zoom and lock-on, sharper scope visuals, and more reliable vehicle damage, while the big one here, deploy beacons, which have been removed from recon and added to assaults, are now limited to 1 spawn per player, 4 per squad in total. And this is supposed to help maintain balance and prevent overuse. Now, you can still spawn on squad mates, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of other vehicles and stuff that you can spawn, so we'll have to see how assaults really change the use for deploy beacons, but I do like how you can't just pop this in the back of a map and have it as your sniper respawn for like 30 whole minutes. Maps and modes have also been reworked, and that's great to hear because Rush and Breakthrough, I really enjoyed them, but some of the sectors, they just didn't give you a lot of room to breathe. So they say that the layouts have been completely revised for better balance between attackers and defenders, and I think I'm honestly just going to wait and see on that one, since I was not convinced at all on any of the layouts they had, except for maybe Liberation Peak for Breakthrough. That was actually pretty fun. Operation Firestorm has also been updated with improved vaulting, lighting, and performance, while Siege of Cairo spawn killing and out of bounds issues have been addressed. So no more rooftop campers, right? UI and HUD elements are now clearer with updated overlays, animated pings, new minimap options, and smoother loadout and deploy navigation. And there's rumors that you can really customize this minimap, so look forward to see the options there. At the end of this, there's also a few settings and controls they've tweaked, so you can adjust things like voiceover volume, you can specify audio pings, and supposedly they've improved netcode, so there's going to be less desync. So overall, I think this is a great communications post if you disregard the open-closed weapon stuff. I'm going to just try to trust. I know I might be stupid to trust EA, but Battlefield 6, 90% of it I am on board with. If Portal and the community server browser is fine and we can have a closed weapons server that exists and it gets populated and people can join no issue, then I don't think I'm going to have a problem. So I'm just going to have to wait and see. I'm super excited for Battlefield 6 this Friday either way, so let me know your thoughts. Do you like what you see? Are you also concerned about the weapons? Do you not even care? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.